no matter how bad things are, no matter how low you get and how old you get, you can always change things around. I didn't become a father till I was 38, but I was a father when I was 16, 17. I had two kids, but I didn't really understand how to be a father until then. But, being sober now and going after God and changing my whole life, I wish I would have done it a long time ago. But now I did it, and now I'm loving life. And now I know that no matter what we've been through or go through, it can turn around for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? Using my story once again. It's me, Samuel. We got a fresh podcast for you today. We got a special guest, Manny Ramirez. So, Manny, we are super glad that you're here today. And so like we use this platform, right? Or using my story is used to help people with mental health, people with substance abuse, people who are suffering with depression, anxiety. So we're glad that you're here and you're giving us the opportunity to dive into your story and to possibly reach somebody, and to give somebody some hope and give them some encouragement. So, we were talking a little bit before we got on camera. We were talking about addictions and mental health. And so let's just jump right into it. How you feel about that? Good?
Let's do it.
All right. So let's talk about your addictions.
Yeah.
Like, what did that look like for you?
So, I had a lot of addictions growing up. My mom was a dope dealer.
Okay.
So I was around marijuana. She used to sell and also get high. So there was a lot of times where she would be out of it. So I was able to put my hand in the cookie jar, So at a young age, I started smoking marijuana probably around 9.
Okay.
And so I always had an ounce on me. I would just go steal. She would get pounds. So back then, it was nickels and dimes, right? Yeah. So I would take an ounce and just get high, start smoking weed. And then I grew up the youngest of a lot of brothers. So I always try to do what they did. So because of that, if they were already doing major drugs and drinking, I kind of fell in the same
same boat.
Yeah. So marijuana was the first thing I ever tried. And then shortly after that, I want to say around 12 years old, speed came into the picture, and we were selling dope. So I was 12, bro. And so at that time, I just started taking little bumps to stay up because a lot of times we were getting, people to call 12, 1. And plus everyone was doing it. So I found myself hooked on meth for we went from the crank speed era into the glass area where it started looking like crystal. And so for I don't know, a good 4 to 6 years, I was just hooked, bro, on meth. I was 100 pounds.
Jeez.
I was sucked up. I show people the pictures of me during those years. They don't believe it's me.
Yeah.
But so then I started doing that. Meanwhile, the whole time I was still smoking weed and drinking and all that stuff. And then right after that, I had this revelation where I was I don't even like meth. Okay. Which is crazy, right? But I was man, why do I smoke so much meth?
And how old were you when you had that
probably
realization?
Around 17.
So from 9, smoking weed.
Yeah.
12, meth. 17.
Yeah.
You said, okay, I don't want to do meth no more. What did you move to?
I started smoking PCP.
Okay.
Well, I've always loved psychedelics and things like that. We used to call them sherm sticks. So I started going with my older homeboys to Watts, Avalon, and start picking up 50 pours, and that was my drug of choice. That I loved. Meth was there, but I loved PCP. I used to smoke frios. I used to make angel dust, and that was my thing.
When you were doing that, was that? Well, yeah, it was the addiction, but was it to escape?
I think so. I think meth kind of got me depressed. When I was smoking meth, bro, I really feel I was depressed a lot. I would say borderline suicidal. I don't know. But when I started smoking PCP, it numbed you. So you'd get shermed out, bro, for hours. You didn't know what the heck was going on.
Yeah.
And so I would just smoke me a frio, and that was it,
Yeah.
You didn't care about much. I just walked the streets all high.
So we were talking about it, and you were very open. So thank you for being honest. We're going to talk about a little about the family dynamic.
Okay.
Okay. So you were saying that your mom was a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Was your dad present at all?
Well, my dad was in and out of prison his whole life. So
Okay.
my dad was. My mom used to take us to go see him.
Okay.
Like everywhere, across the state. He was in and out of prison our whole life. The only thing I really saw from him was the top of his head when he was home, because he slammed heroin.
Okay.
So every time he was home, he was smack back taking methadone and still slamming.
Yeah.
And then the other times was when she would take us to see him in prison. So I didn't really have him home. But I did want to be like him. I remember like wanting to go to jail. I remember every time getting arrested as a juvenile, because I started going to jail really early.
Yeah.
Like really early. And the first time I got arrested, there wasn't even a jail for me. I was like 8. They were like, "We gotta send you home."
Yeah.
But you just destroyed like a classic fire truck. It was like a 1930 fire truck.
Oh, shoot.
It was like, I didn't know it was pristine.
Yeah.
But I busted it all up for no reason.
Wow.
They wanted to take me to jail, but they didn't have nowhere to hold me.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I really got arrested. And then after that, it was like once I turned 12, it was just in and out, bro. I was all through Los Padrinos, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
all the camps you can think of. Central, Silmar. I was in and out of all of them. But every time I got out, I went back to doing drugs like immediately,
So you had your mom dealing drugs.
My mom was a drug dealer.
Your mom was dealing drugs. Dad in and out of the system.
Dad in and out of
You
the system.
following the steps.
Me following the steps. Well, my brothers did first.
Okay.
My older brother, he was a gang member, obviously.
Okay.
And then so was my brother under him.
Okay.
But then we also had cousins that were like our brothers.
Yeah.
So we had, 3 other ones.
Yeah.
We're all in the same gang.
Yeah.
So it was hard, because
Yeah.
my mom had to raise a bunch of kids that were all gangbangers, and they were all in the same gang. Like, as you could imagine, we would tear it up, because we were a gang enough, just 5, 6 of us.
Yeah.
And then, so I wanted to be just like them, really.
Yeah.
And so I followed everything they were doing. Me being the youngest at the time, I was like the baby, but whatever they did, I did.
Well, that's really trippy how like it comes full circle, right? And it comes to where people say you're a product of your environment,
For sure.
right? So it's like
For
you
sure.
see these examples of people like, okay,
Yeah.
this is an older male, and is that how a man is supposed to be?
Yeah.
Are we supposed to go in and out of the system?
Yeah.
Are we supposed to use drugs? Are we supposed to gangbang? Are we supposed to do those things?
For sure, bro, because like I said earlier, the one thing I was excited about was like being just like them.
Yeah.
The first time I got arrested, I felt like I'm finally family, because now I'm one of them, you know? And I mean, even down to the time where I was about 13 when I got caught with a gun, and I knew I was gone, because I already had a record. I was like, they ain't giving me no love. But I was kind of happy about it.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh man, I can't wait to get to the police station.
You're like, mission
Call my
accomplished.
family and let them know I'm in.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what happened too. And I mean, it was the dumbest thing I ever done, but I remember, getting caught, and the cops were laughing at me, because I was like 13. I had a 45 revolver, and none of the cops that arrested me, that gun didn't fit in their gun case.
Yeah.
Or their,
Yeah, the holster.
their holster. They were like, what the heck were you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't even fit here. I was small, sucked up, and but yeah. So that was the first time I actually went in and did like a year straight.
So it was like you were just striving to be accepted.
Yeah, I feel so. Yeah. I mean, looking back at it now, yeah.
Well, yeah, because
I thought I was just
you were in it to win it.
just doing it.
Yeah.
I was sold out. But now that I look back at it, yeah, for sure.
Because it's like, even now as parents,
Yeah.
right? We try to set the image and set the bar of what a man truly is,
Yeah.
right? And we look at those things and we try to be the best example we could be.
Yeah.
Because when I grew up in a different way.
Yeah.
Like my dad was there, but he wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I found to addiction, gangbang, and all those things were like my own choices.
Yeah.
But it was like, again, like you look at your older brothers and you're like, okay, well, they're doing it. I'm going to do it, because you don't want to be not included.
Yeah.
Right. And then just self-destruction. So 9, 12, 13, 17, you're smoking sherm.
Yeah.
And then at what point did you go to anything else?
Well, while I was a shermhead, I also did a lot of psychedelics. I love psychedelics, like mushrooms, acid, So I had a time in my life where it was like, for so many years, bro, I was just doing a lot of psychedelics and PCP. So I would say during the time that I was doing Sherm, and then, from the time that I became an alcoholic, in that time I was a cokehead. I was obviously drinking and then, taking acid and mushrooms.
So after going through all these steps and just going from one place to another place to another place to another place, and in the middle of all that, being in and out of the system, right? And then at what point did you say, or can you say, was your rock bottom?
I think it became later on in my life, because at the time, I wasn't really like, all I saw was rock bottom. So for me, like, it was normal to just...
Well, let me reiterate the question, change it up a little bit. When did you say, enough's enough, I'm not doing this anymore?
With getting high?
Anything, and you just wanted to live right.
I was 38 years old.
38.
Yeah.
And how old are you now?
41.
41. Hey, man, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So at 38, you made a decision like, hey, this isn't for me anymore.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was already working. Like, I was lucky enough, I was blessed to have a job when I got out of prison. So I went to prison for assault with a deadly weapon with great bodily injury. When I was there, I would hear about church. And then my wife was like telling me about, like, she wanted to go to church. So she started going to church. So I started going to church in there, but I didn't turn a Christian because I was still running amok in there, like trying to hold minds down. And I was afraid that I had to just stay in that life because I wasn't sure if I could do it.
Yeah.
And then I tried it, but at the time I couldn't, Well, that's how I changed my life when I found God. Okay. But I feel like there was times where he was there in my life the whole time. Yeah. But I didn't really, like, I was like believing it, but not believing it.
Yeah. You were walking the line.
Yeah. Yeah. But when I turned 38, I went to freedom and I got saved. And like, that's literally how I stopped everything, bro. Really? I haven't had a drink. I haven't had a smoke, not cigarettes. I never been a cigarette smoker, thank God. But I never smoked anything else when I got saved. And that's how I literally stood away from everything else.
So your faith in your relationship
with God,
with your higher power, turned your life completely around.
Absolutely.
And so at 38 is when you started actually living life.
Yeah.
And you can honestly say your eyes were open and you were seeing things.
For sure.
So at 38 to now, you have your family, your wife, children, job, sobriety. All these things are going well and super good for you. Super proud of you, and be proud of yourself, and it's like from one man to another, I get it and I understand, and it's like we see when we're able to see another man come out the other side and be like, that was me, but that's not me anymore. Now this is me, and I can help other people try to accomplish and obtain what I have, and give them encouragement. It's something that I strive to do, because it's like, dang, life's so much better on this side that I can just be like, I don't have to be looking over my shoulder and not chasing a bag. I'm not up all night long.
Honestly, I didn't stop looking over my shoulder until I got saved. Nice. So up till I was 38, I was still strapped like a car seat, Yeah. And I mean, we would go out to eat, me and my wife, and I would always want the corner stall,
seat,
you know what I mean?
The wall.
So I could watch everybody. And even now, sometimes I have that habit. We go places, I'm watching everything, everyone. And she's like, stop.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm wired like that now. It's just how I am.
And, we talked about, we're going to go back a little bit. So we're talking about your brothers and your cousins, and how's your relationship with your family now?
I don't have a good relationship with them anymore because they're still kind of living a life that I don't want to live anymore. So, but I mean, I still love them and everything, but
there's one thing that somebody taught me, and it's still just rings true in my ear all the time, is you can love people from a distance.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm doing right now.
And it's okay. Yeah. It's like, hey, where I'm at in my life, I'm not there anymore. Yeah. And nothing but positive and good vibes to you. I don't want to, I'm not going to knock you or downgrade you or degrade you, but that's not where I'm at anymore. So I don't need to go to the backyard boogies, and I don't need to go do none of those things.
Stay away from that.
So I'm just like,
Yeah.
Because it's like I get to go home and I get to see my kids, and I get to sit down and have dinner with the wife, and live what life was and what life was supposed to be 20 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so
Yeah.
this is a point. So first, let me say this. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Again, and thank you for sharing your story.
Yes, sir.
But this is a point in our podcast where we're able to give you an opportunity to go ahead and look into this camera.
Okay.
And even if you reach one person,
Yeah, for sure.
one person, just give them some encouragement, man.
Yeah.
And speak from the heart. No filter, no time limit.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man. This is your moment.
All right. Well, I would say that no matter how bad things are, no matter how low you get and how old you get, you can always change things around. I didn't become a father till I was 38, but I was a father when I was 16, 17. I had 2 kids, but I didn't really understand how to be a father until then. But, you know, being sober now and going after God and changing my whole life, I wish I would have done it a long time ago. But now I did it, and now I'm loving life. And now I know that no matter what we've been through or go through, it can turn around, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was good, man.
Yes, sir.
So, again, using my story, we thank you guys for joining us. Like Manny said, it's never too late. And like I always say, and like, you know, the other people that work on these podcasts say, you're not alone. You know, we all go through what we go through. Some of us at different points and times in our life. But just be grateful that you're not where you used to be.
Amen.
All right? So until next time, using my story, we'll check you guys later.